Hello everyone, Dr. Stan Reeley. Welcome, fine students, to this very brief overview that I want to give you with regard to writing well in using the APA technique. Now, one thing that I wanted to be able to share with you very briefly, because I don't have a lot of time, the camera will shut down after several minutes, so which is good for you, right? But I thought that this would be a really good opportunity for me to go over some very key primary tenets, requirements, criteria, that if you do these things, you will do much better in writing your papers for not only this course, but for all of your courses while attending college and earning your degree. So let me just go over some again, the top 10 or so basic tenets that you just must follow in order to make sure that your papers are going to be accepted by your professors and celebrated by your professors, and something that, you know, if you ever decide to publish something one day as well, this will be useful information for you. Okay. For your assignments, always begin assignments using a title page. And on this title page, make sure that you make it a title page. Put the title of your piece that you're writing. Be sure to put the course, the date, your name, your professor's name, the university, our university where you're attending, and include all that information on the title page. It's basically the very first thing. It is the first thing that we see, and it should always be a good way to, or as a record-keeping mechanism for you and me. Okay, so include this information on your title page, and that is that is the first page, and it should precede all writing assignments. Okay, if you are writing an abstract, if your essay, if your piece is large enough as far as length, as far as substance, that it is where an abstract is needed. Not all papers require an abstract, but if you are writing one, make sure that you write the abstract last, and that it is a very brief summary, no more than a paragraph or so, of the entire paper that you are submitting. So that's why you write it last, because you can't write it first, because you don't know yet what your research is going to reveal. So the abstract is that summary from beginning to end, top to bottom, comprehensively, all together, of your essay. So I should be able to read your abstract and get a really good idea about what your hypothesis was, and what your steps were, and what your conclusions were. Okay. And that would be the page right after the title page. Okay, next, make sure that your subsequent pages all have a running header, and make sure that your page numbers are listed, and they would be in the upper right-hand corner on the page. Make sure that your paragraphs are, just looking to make sure that it's recording. Yeah, make sure that your paragraphs, all paragraphs are indented, and that 5 spaces, and that a paragraph must contain 3 complete sentences to constitute a paragraph. So if you have a 2-sentence paragraph, it's not really a paragraph. All right, make sure that your paragraph contains at least 3 complete sentences. Okay. As you segue from section to section within your essay, make sure that you include what's called a subheader. Now, the subheader is just like basically just a title of what that particular section is about. Because as you segue or transition from one idea or thought to the next, make sure that your reader is able to follow your thinking, your stream of thinking, all right? Because remember, you're writing for your reader. So you need to make sure that it's reader friendly and easy to follow, and that everything is not all jumbled up into one huge large paragraph and difficult to navigate through. So this is why the subheaders, it helps to break it down and help the reader to get a really good understanding, a clearer understanding about your thinking processes methodically as you move through the essay itself. Okay. The thing is, do not plagiarize. Never, ever, ever plagiarize. And this is how you can not plagiarize, because I'm going to help you to avoid this for the future. Cite sources that you borrow. Whenever you are reading something and you're using it as part of your essay, but it's someone else's idea, you must cite, must give credit to the published writer, that published author, for having come up with that idea. So therefore, in your citation, within the parentheses, is the paraphrase, right? Because it's their idea, but you're reformulating it into your own words. So make sure that in the citation that you put the author's name and the year from where that publication came from. And there's a reason for that, because that will lead to the reference list that I'll get to momentarily. Now, if you are direct quoting from a source, put quote marks around the passage that you are lifting out from the source. Quote marks around the passage, and then you cite it with the author's last name, the year, and then you have to put the page number from where this passage was lifted. Sometimes students think that taking something out of a passage, out of a journal article, and just pasting it in is okay, but it's really, really not. That is absolute plagiarism, and never do that. Never, ever copy-paste from a source and paste it in to your essay and call it your work, all right? You must give credit to the authors. And again, every passage that is verbatim must have quote marks around that passage. And if it's if it's 40 words or more, it's called a block quote, and there's a way for you to do that. And you can check your APA manual, or you can Google it and learn about how to block quote. It has to do with spacing and indent and that sort of thing. Okay, on the very last page of your essay, you would have a reference list. Now, the reference list is listed alphabetically by the author's last name. All right, and when you're listing out your sources, there is a distinct way of writing them out, and I've provided supplemental materials, and of course you can check Google and the OWL at Purdue website. That's a really good place to go. But it all has to do with the use of caps, the use of italics, and those sorts of things as far as how the title is listed. But again, the author's last name is the first thing that I should see, the year, and then the title, and then the book or the journal. Again, that has to do with, and then how you put the how you capitalize the title, and how you capitalize the journal, and how whether you italicize the title or italicize the journal. Again, all that is based on whether it's a journal or a book. Okay, so some detail there, some minutia that you just need to look at carefully. Also, many of us are using hyperlinks these days from sources that we get off the internet. Now, you cannot correctly just stick in the hyperlink from where you got the source, where you found the source and read from it, into your reference list. That's not correct. What you should try to do is, rather than an HTML version, try to find the PDF version of that article. And that way you will have the author's name, the title, the year, the page numbers if you're quoting, and all of that can be provided just as if you are, as if you checked out a book from the library or found a journal, from the library as well. But you can do this very same thing with Hyperlink, but you just cannot just stick in the hyperlink. You must precede that with the, again, the author's name, the year, the title, just as you did with the book or the paper journal. And then you say, following that, retrieved on February whatever, January whatever, December, March whatever, and the date at http:// there is where you would then include the hyperlink, okay? But you must give that other preliminary information as well. Again, your reader, me, or your next professor may want to go look that up. They might find it very interesting, and they might want to do some more research on it themselves. So you have to give them all the information rather than just the hyperlink, because the author's last name, the year, is all relevant information to that. So, and then some depending on the depth of the paper, the substance of the paper itself, if you have raw data that you use to generate data charts or something like that, at the very, very end, you would include an appendix. But that's not always required. But any kind of calculations or like I said, raw data that you use to build data charts and visuals or anything like that, the statistics that I have seen in your primary essay, the very clean essay part of it, but the raw data would be at the end in the appendices, in the event that I wanted to go back and review your calculations and see how you got to those numbers, just so we can all be on the same page, no pun intended with that. So that's basically all you need to do. It's really a matter of formatting and just a few basic minutia type techniques, just designed enough to drive you crazy, that you have to do in order to fully comply with the APA expectations. And if you do these things, I guarantee you, your papers will be acclaimed and celebrated, and then you'll not have to think about it so much. Just commit these things to memory, and then you can focus more on your research and writing as opposed to worrying about, am I technically, doing this properly? Okay, so, but again, always remember that credit to your sources is really important, because otherwise that's plagiarism, and that's serious stuff. It could lead to things that we don't really want to talk about in this video. So thanks again for paying attention to me, and I hope this was beneficial for you, and looking forward to working with you in the future. Take care.